Dodaro, can you tell me how much COVID cash went to CRT?
CRT?
Critical race theory in education. It's a racist curriculum used to teach children that somehow their white skin is not equal to black skin and other things in education.
Yeah. No, I do not know that, but I do know that there's provisions that the federal funds generally are not used, are supposed to be used for curriculum.
Oh.
That was Georgia Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene ranting about critical race theory during a recent House hearing. And the very confused man she was yelling at is Gene Dodaro, the Comptroller General of the United States. It's rare you see a congressional witness actually stump a member of Congress on live TV, but there you have it. And Greene wasn't done being wrong.
Mr. Dodaro, I have to tell you, in Illinois, they received $5.1 billion at an elementary school there that used it for equity and diversity. So it's being used for these things.
Now, if it shocks you to learn that an Illinois elementary school got $5 billion from the feds to teach critical race theory to kids, well, it should. That's because Marjorie Taylor Greene is lying. Not only is critical race theory not taught to elementary students, Illinois only receives about $2 billion a year total from the federal government for education, and none of that goes to curriculum. She's just making it up as she goes. But the fact that their enemies are completely imaginary hasn't stopped the MAGA right from bringing back CRT as a popular punching bag. Just take Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. DeSantis isn't content simply banning AP African American Studies from every school in the state. Now he's coming after the equity and diversity funding provided for administrative staff.
We are also going to eliminate all DEI and CRT bureaucracies in the state of Florida. No funding, and that will wither on the vine. And I think that that's very important because it really serves as an ideological filter, a political filter. You've seen different things.
That's right. Ron DeSantis just said he's excited to see Florida's colleges cut funding to core educational programs as part of an ideological filter against the libs. But DeSantis doesn't think that critical race theory and crazy ideas like equality are just dangerous. He thinks they aren't even a part of Western civilization at all.
The first thing that we're going to propose is we want to make sure that everybody that goes through a Florida university has to take certain core course requirements that's really focused on giving them the foundation so that they can think for themselves. And the core curriculum must be grounded in actual history, the actual philosophy that has shaped Western civilization. Our institutions will be graduating students, I think, with degrees that are going to be meaningful.
Yeah, those degrees are going to look real good to potential employers. History graduates who don't know anything about Black history, political scientists who have only read the work of white theorists, an entire state full of college graduates learning half of what their fellow students are learning in other states. Those high-paying jobs are just going to roll in. But what's so alarming is that organizations like the College Board are actually giving in to autocrats like DeSantis. In response to Florida's plan to ban AP African American Studies unless it cut out all the bad history, the College Board announced it was stripping topics like queer theory and civil rights entirely. Score one for the bad guys, I guess. In Florida, African American Studies courses will no longer contain mentions of movements like Black Lives Matter or efforts by Black civil rights leaders to reform the American prison system. Instead, and get this, the College Board added a new section on the history of Black conservatism. Students can now do a research project that highlights a prominent Black Republican of their choice. Hooray! There's nothing radical about the College Board's original curriculum. In fact, that very curriculum has already been piloted in states across the country, and Western civilization hasn't fallen apart yet. And as MSNBC's Joy Reid points out, it's no mistake that DeSantis and Republicans made this move on February 1st, the first day of Black History Month.
The legal challenge comes as Florida education reaches dystopian levels. Teachers in Manatee County are now forced to remove or cover unvetted books from classrooms and libraries to avoid felony charges. The College Board, which oversees AP classes, told our show that it would release a new framework for the AP course on February 1st, which happens to be the first day of Black History Month. DeSantis has yet to cancel Black History Month because it violates his Stop Woke Act, because it would make white children feel bad, which is illegal in Florida. Nor has he banished February itself entirely from our calendar, at least not yet.
Republicans are suddenly eager to talk about CRT because, hey, it sure beats doing any actual work. And with many of the right's loudest anti-CRT voices also throwing their hats into the 2024 presidential race, riling up the far right is easy money in the campaign war chest. So what if it's destroying American education in the process? And now the right's craziest wingnuts are joining forces to make sure critical race theory becomes the defining issue of the next 2 years. Watch this mess.
This CRT issue, that's the pandemic we have to worry about. It's in our schools, it's in our military, it's in our government at all levels, it's in our corporations, it's in our media culture, and it's this sort of casual racist approach to treating American citizens. That some citizens are to be vilified because of their race and treated as victims because of their race, not because of anything they've done in terms of being terrible or wonderful, simply because of their race.
CRT is the real pandemic. It's secret Marxism, and only the donations of the right's most gullible racists will help Republicans fight back against the liberal enemy. But this is so much more than just a fundraising pitch. It's the latest effort by the right to rewrite and whitewash American history, because when people learn the real history of our country, they tend to get really mad at Republicans. It's up to activists in every state in the country to rally families on the local level in resistance to this GOP takeover of education. We can't count on Washington. Only direct local action will reshape the state legislatures that determine what our children learn. Their futures and ours are at stake. If you made it to the end, thanks so much for watching. Please leave a like and consider subscribing. And leave a comment below so you can let me know what I should cover next.